Nvidia hitting $3 trillion in market cap for the first time yesterday, becoming the second largest U.S. public company behind Microsoft. Although we are seeing a pullback, just a small one today. And with Nvidia's 10-to-1 stock split coming up tomorrow, we may see another surge in short selling and options trading. For more, we are bringing in Ihor Dusaniwsky, Managing Director at S3 Partners. So let's talk about the short interest that we're seeing here, the main story. What's your big picture view?
Well, Nvidia's got is the largest short in the U.S. market with $34 billion of short interest. It's climbed to the top over Apple and Tesla. People are shorting it based on being a momentum stock and also a hedge to the market and a hedge to the tech side of the street. So we're seeing a lot of activity, and there's something to be said about people shorting ahead of the stock split.
And what does that say? What does it say that they're shorting ahead of the stock split? I mean, I have seen some research that indicates that, say, in the 12 months on average following a split, that stocks tend to perform relatively well. But obviously, if people are shorting it, that would imply they don't believe that in the short term, at least.
Sure. Over the last 30 days, we've seen around 1.6 million shares short. It's around $2 billion, so it's not a light figure. This includes option trading, because you've got the hedges to the people that are writing options. They take the hedges out and they short stock in order to protect themselves against their open option positions. But really, this ends up being kind of like playing a roulette wheel, red or black. Do we think that the run up in Nvidia has kind of taken up all the sale and its wins temporarily for this stock split, and we're expecting a pullback afterwards, or is it just basically the start of a bigger move after the stock split? So you got to see who's on each side of the market, and we're seeing a lot of shorts betting for a downturn.
I want to ask you about GameStop here, another ticker that's in the news. We were talking about Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, finally talking to the market, talking to the public tomorrow. What kind of short interest are you seeing in GameStop ahead of this event?
Well, it's things just keep coming around in the market. We've got $2 billion worth of shorts interest in GameStop. It's one of the largest shorts in the computer and retail sector. There hasn't been that much short selling recently. There's been around 1.3 million shares shorted for the year, around 2 million shares bought to cover over the last 30 days. There's been a short squeeze in the name. So we're seeing some pullback in the stock. I mean, you got to look at the price moves and say that the shorts are getting walloped today. I think they're down around $640 million just on today's stock price move. That brings year-to-date losses to around 1.4 billion. So this has been a painful trade on the short side, and we're seeing a lot of shorts get out of the market.
Well, and that's what's interesting to me as well, Ihor, because I've seen some chatter recently that it's not just shorts that are getting out of the market with something like that, that generally in the market there is lower short interest now. Are you seeing that in your data also?
Not really. We're seeing that the short interest has actually gone up over the last 30 days. Overall, we're seeing around $1.15 trillion of short interest. It's up around $25 billion over the past 30 days. That includes the mark-to-market interest increase of the price of the stocks being shorted already, but also it's another $11 billion of short selling. So there's discriminate short selling in the market. Certain sectors are seeing a lot of activity, others not so much. We're seeing increased shorting in the tech sector. We're seeing short covering in energy. So the people are rotating in and out of sectors, but generally short interest is still up.
I'm wondering if you have some kind of market timing model that's based on your own analytics and maybe based on, maybe it's a contrary indicator, but do you aggregate the short positions and then try to divine, all right, is the market going, is it reaching a peak, is it reaching a valley, anything along those lines?
Yeah, that's not something we do to predict the pricing in the market. What we are looking at is what the street is doing, and when you look at it, a lot of the short selling or most of the short selling is done by the big institutions, hedge funds, and such. So you kind of look at it and say, okay, what's the quote unquote smart money doing in the market? You'll be looking at stocks that they're looking to short for profits for an alpha trade, and you're also looking at shorts that are used as hedges. So 12% of the entire short book in the U.S. is in Mag 7 stocks. So you've got stocks that are looking shorts that are looking at those stocks to go down, and also they're using it as a hedge to the entire portfolio. But right now we're seeing shorts increasing their positions.
And finally, there's one more stock I wanted to ask you about, Ihor, that caught my eye on your list, and that is MicroStrategy, because most of the other stocks that are on this list are mega caps. MicroStrategy not really in that category. It also stands out because 21% of its float is shorted, which is quite a high number, and one that, again, sticks out from the list. So what have we seen for the numbers there? Is that a recent development, or has that been pretty consistent?
Yeah, well, just kind of to give it perspective, the average short interest percentage of float is 4.8 for the U.S. market. So we're talking about 4 or 5 times the size of the normal average short in the market. MicroStrategy is kind of a twofold bet. It's a Bitcoin bet. So you want to short Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy. It's a much more liquid stock. You can get in and out of the position as opposed to going in and out of Bitcoin itself, or paying a premium in these ETFs. So you know what? A lot of shorts are saying, yeah, I'm going to short MicroStrategy instead of a cryptocurrency bet in the market.
Proxy trade, love it.
Exactly.
And thanks for all of this very elucidating information here, Ivan Dusaniwsky.